So I've been practicing lucid dreaming for about 9 years now, and in that time I've learned a lot, not just about lucid dreaming, but about myself and my relationship to lucid dreaming. I suppose I would consider myself a veteran, although I know there are many people who have more years of experience than me, but at the same time, I know there are plenty of people who don't make it this far. Either the novelty wears off, or they just don't see the results that they're hoping for and they stop pursuing it. There are a lot of things that I've learnt, but I figured because it's been 9 years, I would do 9 things that I have learnt about lucid dreaming in 9 years. Number 1, lucid dreaming isn't about dream control. One of the things that attracted me to lucid dreaming was the idea of being able to control my dreams, which is often a key selling point of lucid dreaming. Being able to do what you want in a dream and having access to this limitless playground of imagination is a tantalizing prospect. And although it's true that lucidity does come with a certain degree of control, the actual definition of a lucid dream is a dream in which you have conscious awareness that you are dreaming. With this new level of awareness, you are able to exert a certain level of control over the dream and influence how it plays out. But I've definitely had lucid dreams where I haven't been able to make everything that I want to happen, and sometimes things are a little bit fuzzy and the dream sneaks in its own ideas. I believe Robert Waggoner said in his book Lucid Dreaming: Gateway to the Inner Self, no sailor controls the sea, the same as no lucid dreamer controls the dream. Which brings me on to my next point. Lucidity is on a spectrum. Not every lucid dream is created equal. You can have these amazing full HD immersive magical moments where everything seems to be going to plan, and then you'll have these semi-lucid moments where you know something isn't right but it hasn't quite clicked yet, or you realise that you're dreaming but you don't fully understand what that means. Or you'll find yourself lucid but it's kind of blurry and slow and sluggish. These are all still valid lucid dreams, however. In fact, I would say that most people will have these sort of semi-lucid moments to begin with, and with time and practice, things should improve. But even those of us who have been doing this for a long time will experience these varying degrees of awareness. There are many factors that come into play and that could be having an effect on your awareness levels, but there will always be low-level lucid dreams and more high-level lucid dreams. Remember that having a full-blown lucid dream doesn't necessarily make you a better lucid dreamer, or make the dream experience any better. As far as what it means to be an expert lucid dreamer, different people will give you different answers, so don't worry if you aren't having amazing lucid dreams all of the time. Number 3. Progress isn't linear. Learning how to lucid dream can take time, and sometimes it feels like no progress is being made. If things aren't happening fast enough, you'll wonder if you're doing something wrong, or you'll jump back and forth between techniques without really giving them a chance to work. Sometimes you might find yourself having a winning streak and having lots of intense lucid dreams, and then things might dry up, and you might not have a lucid dream for days, weeks, months. You might be really good at controlling certain aspects of the dream, and then one day you might suddenly find that you have difficulty doing those things. The journey of being a lucid dreamer isn't a straightforward path. As with most things, you imagine this linear trajectory, but things are usually never that straightforward. So if you find yourself dipping, it might just be a natural part of the process, and you shouldn't let it dissuade you from continuing. Number 4. Sometimes non-lucid is better. There's this idea that a lucid dream is superior to a regular dream, that the overall experience, as well as any profound messages you take from the dream, is better and more insightful. But this isn't necessarily true. I used to think achieving something through lucidity gave it more value, more meaning, that having my normal daytime awareness made the dream more real and therefore more meaningful. Actually, sometimes I found that plenty of my non-lucid dreams to be more entertaining, more rewarding and more fruitful than a lucid dream. Which brings me to point number 5. More control doesn't make a better lucid dream. As mentioned earlier, having control over the dream is a major reason why people get into lucid dreaming in the first place. But actually, sometimes becoming lucid and allowing the dream to just play out can be an equally rewarding experience. Sometimes these dreams present an already established narrative, and it can be more fun to go along with what you've already been presented with. Also, it's a great way of being able to observe the kind of stuff your dreaming mind is making up seemingly on its own. Consciously observing the subconscious or the unconscious is a pretty trippy experience. Number 6. Reality checks are pointless without awareness. Reality checks are always praised as being one of the more effective techniques for lucid dreaming, both as a means of getting lucid and as a way of keeping awareness going throughout the dream. The majority of guides for lucid dreaming, particularly dream-initiated lucid dreaming, will have reality checks as an important step, and yes, in many ways they are. But it's not the actual reality check that's important, it's the awareness that comes from the reality check. I'm sure there'll be many dreamers who do countless reality checks throughout the day, and yet they don't seem to be making any kind of progress in lucid dreaming. Typically before you reality check, you have this sudden awareness that you might be in a dream. Maybe you've seen something odd that's prompted you to test reality, or you just suddenly have a realization. You've already questioned your environment before you've done the reality check. The reality check is more or less to confirm your suspicions about the nature of the environment that you're in. So the awareness comes first, then the reality check, then the conclusion. If you don't pay attention to that awareness or really spend time in that awareness, really looking at things and immersing all of your senses, then the reality check is going to be less effective. In fact, the majority of the time when I get lucid these days, I don't do a reality check. The awareness is enough to go on. The only reason why I do reality check in dreams is to make doubly sure that I am dreaming, because there's been many times where I've done something and I've had this panicky moment of, I really hope that I am in a dream. Number 7. Belief goes a long way. Another thing I've often spoke about in videos is how belief plays quite a large role in getting and staying lucid. It's easy to feel defeated if you've hit a wall and you don't feel like you can push through it and go any further. If you've had some bad experiences, it's easy to think that it's all pointless or you'll never be able to do it. And with lucid dreaming being mostly a mental practice, if you've already decided it's impossible, then it's going to be much harder to achieve. Number 8. Goal setting is vital in the long run. For a lot of people, once they've experienced a lucid dream and they've done a few things that they want to do, which is typically flying or sex, the novelty starts to wear off and putting in the work to maintain lucidity loses its appeal and people give up. Now, not everyone who gets into lucid dreaming is going to want to pursue it long term, which is fine, but for those who do, it can be really hard to stay motivated. I've heard people saying that they're starting to get bored and can't think of anything to do in a lucid dream, which is ludicrous given that there's so much to potentially explore, but sometimes having no limits can be limiting. Having a goal or a series of tasks that you can work towards or complete is vital in staying motivated. It can be something simple, like turning into an animal or eating a certain type of food, or it can be something a lot more in depth that might take a few dreams to actually achieve. Having a task of the month can be quite helpful. It's something that I used to do on this channel, but at the time I didn't have a lot of subscribers, so I didn't think it was worth putting a lot of focus into that. But you can create a checklist, or I guess a bucket list of what you want to achieve. Set yourself a deadline or leave it open. You could do a certain theme, like at Christmas I try and have Christmas themed lucid dreams. Or you could go for something really obscure, like what does the colour blue sound like, or some other abstract concept. Get creative with it. Which brings me on to my final point. There's no 100% guaranteed technique. There's always been a debate amongst dreamers of what technique works best, whether it's the classic dream-induced versus wake-induced lucid dreaming debate, or something a little more in depth. And you'll always find someone who has found the perfect method that has a hit rate between 96 and 99%, although they never tell you how they got this number, but apparently it works. But ultimately, we don't know everything about lucid dreaming. We don't know all the factors that go into lucid dreaming, what psychological factors, what chemical factors, lifestyle, environment, brain function, all of these things. So really there's no guaranteed technique. You have to find what works for you, and if something is working, then keep going. If over time certain techniques suddenly stop working, then it's best to take a step back, see if there's anything you can improve or change, or just take a break for a little while. So those were 9 things about lucid dreaming that I have learned in 9 years. I hope some of that was helpful for you, and that it's given you something to think about. Is there anything you want to add, Rara? Ah, yes. Rara says that if you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe and perhaps even check out our Patreon page. There's also 20% off on any Vivid Dream product, so don't forget to use the discount code and the link that is also in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I have been Max, aka the Rara Rabbit, and I'll see you in the next video.